Okay, this is just a short video before I jump in and start working on my main video for today. But it's a case that I just wanted to talk about. It's an Australian case from Queensland in the north of Australia. So we have Phoebe Bishop here, who on the 15th of May was due to catch a flight from Bundaberg in Queensland down to Brisbane, which is also Queensland, and then across to Perth in Western Australia. She'd been saving up for this flight because she was headed to West Australia to visit a former boyfriend who had relocated across to Western Australia. What we've been told is that Phoebe was dropped off at Airport Drive in Bundaberg, but she did not meet her flight. She was dropped off with her luggage, but there is now no sign of her or her luggage. Now, something that I believe probably should be clarified, but it sounds to me that she was actually not dropped off at the actual terminal. So if you're familiar with airports, Airport Drive could be a very, very long road. And piecing things together, it sounds like there may have been an argument between her and the driver of the car. It is possible that she has been put out of the car by the driver. This is me speculating. And then picked up again further down the road by the driver, because police have been asking for dashcam footage of the car, and they have actually established two crime scenes. They've seized the car that she was last seen in, and they've also established a crime scene at the house where she was living. So, first of all, I'm going to just quickly show you a map for anyone who does not live in Australia, so that you can get some idea of the places that I'm talking about. So on the right hand side you have Bundaberg and Brisbane. They are, if you are flying, about an hour's flight apart. Then on the other side of the country, 5.5 hours flying time away, just to give you a sense of distance, is Perth. Now, like I mentioned, she had saved up for this trip. And I've just done a little bit of a look online. A one-way ticket across to Perth, if you're looking at both stops, is going to be a minimum of $500. This was a huge, huge trip for this young girl. This is not something where she would have just booked the trip and then at the last minute gone, yeah, not going. It was clearly something that she's saved up for, something of great importance to her. So the fact that she never made it to her flight is definitely deeply alarming. I'm going to play a little bit of news footage just to give you a better understanding of the case.
A loving daughter whose disappearance has puzzled police and left a family fearing the worst.
Fifi, we need you to come home. Annie Fifi? Nanny? We need Annie Nanny. We need Annie Nanny to come home, don't we?
It's been almost a week since 17-year-old Phoebe Bishop vanished on her way to Bundaberg Airport, bound for Brisbane and then WA to visit her boyfriend. She failed to check into her flight. Police now confident the teen never reached the terminal.
So it certainly sounds, based on that she definitely was not dropped off in the location of the terminal. Now, what is especially concerning about this is that Bundaberg Airport is a regional airport. It's basically ranked 41st amongst Australian airports in terms of busiest. It has one runway. So that means there would have only been one flight departing. And I'd imagine if it's anything like here in Bendigo, it wouldn't have been a particularly large plane. Basically, from Bundaberg you would fly to Brisbane in order to make other longer flights, which is what was the intention here with this young lady. So when you consider the size of the airport, you would expect that someone dropping her off would be able to drop her off directly at the terminal. I know the times when I've driven my sister down to Melbourne and dropped her off at Melbourne Airport. Driving through to the actual terminal is quite tedious, so we have kind of arranged drop-off and arranged pick-up locations that basically mean that I don't have to drive directly to the terminal. We just make sure we allow time for that. But this is not Melbourne, this is not Brisbane, this is a regional airport where you would be able to drop someone off pretty much directly at the terminal. So it is definitely concerning that she actually never made it to the terminal.
Police have now deemed this investigation as suspicious.
Phoebe's home at Gin Gin has been scoured by detectives and forensics teams. Her housemates questioned. Investigators say they were meant to take her to the airport in their grey Hyundai, which is also under examination. Officers probing whether there was an argument between Phoebe and the driver of the car.
So again, mainstream media don't always do their research, and it is my understanding from articles that I've read that she was dropped off at the airport by someone driving that car. I'm thinking, based on what they've been saying, that, like I said, she may have also been collected by someone driving that car, which is why I suspect that she was dropped off some distance from the terminal. And it does make sense that there would have been an argument. Maybe she demanded to be let out and then they stopped and got her back in the car. And something happened after that.
That's forming part of our investigation. Police are still conducting inquiries in relation to the timeline of this vehicle.
Phoebe's luggage is yet to be located near the airport or her home.
Last week, there were howling dogs in the back all day long. They were home. That's why I didn't understand. They were howling all day and they were home. So I'm not sure what was going on.
Phoebe's family are obviously quite distressed and concerned. So they would obviously like Phoebe to make contact with them.
A failed trip to reunite high school sweethearts, causing heartache for a hurting family. Liam Bland, 7 News.
Now, while I am going to quote this article from the Daily Mail, I am going to be cautious because I am aware that the Daily Mail isn't exactly top of the list in terms of credible sources, so I'm not going to read everything that's in the article. However, there are some important bits of information here that haven't been included in the news articles. So in terms of where she was staying, apparently they haven't clarified who these other people were, but she was staying on a property with other people that weren't family. Her phone and social media accounts have also been inactive since she went missing, and there hasn't been any movement in her bank account since May 14th. So the other information we have here, as mentioned, he was her high school sweetheart that moved away. She spoke to her boyfriend on the phone just before she disappeared. So she hadn't checked into her flight, but she spoke to her boyfriend at 8:30. So that was around the time she was due to check in to her flight. And then after that, her phone was switched off and she hasn't contacted anyone. So like I said, there seems to be a lot of confusion as to what actually happened. So I'm just going to read this part. On Wednesday, police declared Phoebe's disappearance as suspicious and set up 2 major crime scenes to investigate. Following investigations, police declared a property in Gin, where Phoebe was living prior to her disappearance, as a crime scene. They have also seized a grey Hyundai i35 believed to be the car Phoebe travelled to the airport drive in, and declared the vehicle a crime scene. Detectives are appealing to the public for dashcam and CCTV footage of the grey Hyundai i35 with Queensland registration 414EW3 near the Airport Drive and Samuels Road area in Bundaberg, also the Gin area on May 15th. Acting Inspector Ryan Thompson confirmed police are investigating whether Phoebe was actually dropped off at the airport and whether she knew the driver of the SUV. Again, media not really doing their due diligence, because we know that clearly she knew the driver of the SUV. In terms of whether she was dropped off at the airport, this definitely seems to be a bit of confusion going on here, but it is my understanding that she was dropped off in the vicinity of the airport but not actually at the terminal, which fits in with them saying that there are reports of a possible argument between her and the driver of the vehicle. Okay, this is really sloppy reporting. It appears that the reporter has just pieced together quotes from all over the place and not actually tried to write their own report, their own article. Because now we have, on Tuesday, Inspector Thompson revealed Phoebe was dropped off at the airport by associates, but never made it to her flight. We're still working together to piece together her movements on that day, he said. Police conducted a land search of Airport Drive and the surrounding areas on Monday, but were unsuccessful in finding Phoebe or any of her belongings. I'm just going to read the top paragraph because there's a lot of just waffling. So, Phoebe's family have described the disappearance as out of character, with her heartbroken mother Kylie Johnson regularly posting on social media in an attempt to reach her daughter. I just want to highlight a quote from the mother, which to me suggests that there's definitely something not so good with this case. She says, flee, must be what she calls her daughter. My heart tells me that you won't see this, but I love you more than anything in the world, and I would be homeless just to hear you say, hey mumsy, what's doing, etc. My heart tells me that you won't see this. This makes me very concerned. I think she believes something bad has happened to her daughter. And given that most parents don't like to believe that sort of thing, it takes a while to get there. I think definitely she must have some inside knowledge. She must have knowledge of something significant. And down the bottom it says, Ms. Johnson also revealed no bank transactions have been made on Phoebe's account since Wednesday, which is out of character for her daughter, who spends money like water. So I have one more news piece. This is from the Today Show, which is also talking about Phoebe's disappearance.
Crime scenes have been declared as police desperately search for a Queensland teenager who has mysteriously disappeared. Live to Today Queensland reporter Andrea Crothers. Andrea, she's been missing for a week now. Yeah, Jane, it's pretty scary. 17-year-old Phoebe Bishop, she was meant to board a flight from Bundaberg to Perth via Brisbane last Thursday to visit her boyfriend. Police say her housemates were the last ones to see her, and they say they dropped her off at 8:30 in the morning with her luggage. But she never checked into her flight. In fact, police have looked at CCTV. They're convinced she never even made it to the airport.
Again, we have different accounts. So, what is actually the situation here? Was she dropped off on Airport Drive somewhere? Or is this just what they were told by her housemates? And there's, something else is going on here. But then we're being told that she spoke to her boyfriend in Perth at 8:30 that morning. So there's a lot going on here that's not being said, and unfortunately it seems like the mainstream media can't get their shiz together to actually figure out what's really going on.
They've now seized her housemate's grey Hyundai iX35 car and searched it. Their Gin home has also been declared a crime scene and searched. Police are treating this as suspicious, but they're not ruling anything in or out. Meanwhile, her desperate family, they've been searching among the Bundaberg River as well as through bushland. Police are appealing for anyone who may have dash cam or CCTV around the airport as well as around Gin from last Thursday to come forward. Jane.
Okay, so clearly police do believe she was in the vicinity of the airport because they are asking for dashcam footage. And from the multiple articles that I've read, it does sound like they believe that she was dropped off, supposedly, in the vicinity of the airport. Now, obviously, unless that is something that has been confirmed in that phone call between her and her boyfriend, or is confirmed with camera footage, that could just be what they have been told by the flatmates. So, really, I'm baffled. Okay, I probably should have done this first, but let's go straight to the source. So this is Queensland Police Service Media. Police are continuing to process 2 crime scenes as the search for a missing 17-year-old continues. Phoebe Bishop, pictured, and I've scrolled past that, has not been seen or heard from since May 15. A property in Gin and a grey Hyundai i35 are active crime scenes. Currently, no one is in custody in relation to this investigation. However, police continue to speak to people who know Phoebe. Police are continuing to appeal to the public for dashcam and CCTV footage of the grey Hyundai i35 with Queensland registration 414EW3 near the Airport Drive and Samuels Road area in Bundaberg, and also the Gin area on May 15. Detective Acting Inspector Ryan Thompson said public information is vital in piecing together Phoebe's movements on May 15th. You may have the small piece of information that leads us to finding Phoebe, Detective Acting Inspector Thompson said. People don't vanish, someone knows something, and we're urging anyone with information to contact police immediately. Phoebe is described as approximately 180 centimetres, pale complexion, long dyed red hair and hazel eyes. She was last seen carrying luggage and wearing a green tank top and grey sweatpants. Investigations are ongoing. Let's hope there are some answers soon with this case. So, on that note, I'm going to finish here. Thank you for watching. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like button and leave a comment below. Thank you, and I will catch you in the next one.
I've been going to wonder